They say every taxi driver has a story. Some are funny, some are strange, but others are the kind you never tell. The kind that keep you up at night, listening to the rain and wondering what you really saw. This is one of those stories. The story of the last passenger. Our story begins with Jacob, a taxi driver, on a dreary Tuesday night. His shift was nearly done. Just a few more minutes until he could head home. His cab smelled of stale coffee and that cheap pine air freshener that never quite covers up the scent of 1,000 strangers. He was tired, bored, and just wanted to be done. He turned onto a long, empty road that snaked its way out of town. It was one of those roads where fog hangs low and the streetlights flicker like they about to give up. And that's when he saw her, a woman, standing perfectly still by the side of the road. She wore a simple gray coat and clutched a small purse. She didn't wave for him, didn't even look his way. She just stood there, staring into the misty darkness. Jacob, being a good driver, slowed down. The window whirred. As it lowered, "Need a ride?" he asked. His voice a little rough from the long shift. She just gave a slow, deliberate nod and slid into the back seat. The door closed with a soft thud. Her voice was barely a whisper. "Please take me home." As he pulled back onto the road, Jacob noticed something odd. She hadn't given him an address. She just sat in the back, her eyes fixed on the rain as it traced paths down the window. When he asked where they were going, she simply whispered, "I'll tell you when to stop." A little strange, but he'd had weirder fares. He tried to break the silence, a bit of small talk to pass the time. "Rough night, huh?" But he got no reply. Nothing. All he could hear was the rhythmic beat of the windshield wipers and a faint, almost inaudible sound from the back. He glanced in the rearview mirror. Her lips were moving, but no words were coming out. It was like she was repeating something to herself, a silent prayer or a mantra. After what felt like 20 minutes, a wave of confusion washed over Jacob. He'd just passed the same dimly lit gas station for the second time. He'd taken the same left turn 3 times now. He was driving in circles. He let out a nervous chuckle. "Sorry about this," he said, trying to sound casual. "My GPS must be on the fritz tonight." That's when she looked up. For the first time, her eyes met his in the mirror. They were a pale, cloudy color, almost completely white. The sight sent an unexpected jolt through him. Her voice, still soft, cut through the quiet hum of the engine. "You've already passed my house." Jacob frowned, confused. "When?" "I don't remember stopping." A faint, unnerving smile touched her lips. 5 years ago. A cold dread, sharp and sudden, ran down Jacob's spine. What did that even mean? Before he could process the thought, the woman pointed a slender finger toward the windshield. "Turn here." He instinctively followed her direction, turning onto an old gravel road he'd never seen before. The road led to a small, dark house, barely visible through the thick fog. No lights were on. The place looked abandoned. He pulled the car to a stop, the engine idling. The woman opened the door and stepped out into the rain. Before she closed it, she turned back, her pale eyes locking onto his one last time. "Thank you for bringing me home." The door clicked shut, and she walked toward the desolate house, disappearing into the mist. Jacob sat there for a moment, his mind racing. He was confused, a little spooked, but mostly just relieved the strange ride was over. He glanced down at his meter to log the fare, but the screen was blank, not turned off, just completely blank, as if the ride had never happened. He looked back up, ready to call out to her, but she was gone. The yard was empty. The wet ground was undisturbed. There were no footprints. Just then, flashing blue and red lights filled his rearview mirror. A police car had pulled up behind him. An officer, looking concerned, walked up to his window. "Everything all right here, sir?" Jacob nodded, trying to gather his thoughts. "Yeah, I'm fine. I just dropped someone off here." The officer's expression froze. "Someone?" he asked, his voice tight. Jacob pointed toward the dark, dilapidated house. "Yeah, a woman." She went inside there. The officer's face went pale under the flashing lights. "Sir?" Nobody has lived in that house for 5 years. That's impossible, Jacob insisted, his own voice shaking now. I just drove her here. I saw her walk in. The officer sighed and aimed his heavy flashlight at the house. The beam cut through the fog, revealing a broken front door, rotting wooden panels, and an old, tattered newspaper nailed to the frame. Jacob's heart pounded in his chest as he read the faded headline. Local woman killed in taxi crash. Returns home alone. His hands began to tremble uncontrollably. He got out of the cab, his legs feeling weak, and followed the officer into the yard. The ground was soaked, muddy, and completely untouched. But as he turned back to his car, he saw it. The back seat of his taxi was dripping wet, but only on one side, right where she had been sitting. And there, gleaming on the dark fabric, was a small, silver pendant. Picked it up. Engraved on the back was a single name, Evelyn. The officer's voice was a low whisper beside him. That was her name. That night, sleep was impossible for Jacob. Every creak of the floorboards, every gust of wind sounded like the faint click of his taxi door opening and closing. He tossed and turned. The image of those pale, cloudy eyes burned into his memory. Then, at exactly 3:12 a.m., his phone buzzed on the nightstand. A text message from an unknown number. His blood ran cold as he read the words on the screen. Thank you for bringing me home. He dropped the phone as if it were on fire. At that exact moment, he heard it. The distinct sound of water dripping, not from a leaky faucet, but from somewhere inside his apartment. He forced himself to look toward the window, and there, outside, standing on the street below, illuminated by the ghostly glow of a streetlight, was the woman in the gray coat, standing beside his taxi, waiting. They say some passengers never reach their final destination. Some are still lost, still searching for a way home. So the next time you find yourself driving alone on a dark, foggy night, and you see a lone figure waiting by the side of the road, you might just want to keep driving, because not every fare is living. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more tales from the dark. Stay safe out there.